Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the June 26th Al-Anon readings, Encouraged to Change, and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment and look this over. The question is, where do I place my faith today? This person starts off by saying that when they first came to Al-Anon, their faith was misplaced, but they developed an understanding of their higher power, where once they thought that God sat in judgment, Al-Anon helped them realize that 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 they are actually punished or rewarded not for their actions, but by their actions. They let go of things that didn't work for them and rediscovered who they were supposed to be. Today's reminder: when we have faith, we never have to be alone again. And the quote is from Al-Anon, A Day at a Time. Our higher power is there to help us do our best. So where do I place my faith today? I definitely feel like I place my faith in my higher power, and I place some faith in myself because I feel like in order to do my part, like part of the whole thing is me doing my part. And for me to do my part, I have to pay attention to what I feel like my higher power wants me to do. Yeah. I think that's really it. I don't know. That seems pretty clear-cut to me. All right, I'm going to take a minute and look this over. This reading is about forgiveness. And I love the first sentence, and it's talking about how a lot that has to do with forgiveness is about changing our attitude. When we work our program, we realize that bitterness hurts us more than anyone else. Interesting. This person believes that their alcoholic loved one might be a messenger sent by their higher power. The message was to get help. This person made it to Al-Anon and their life changed in wonderful ways. And they're very grateful for what they have learned. Today's reminder: we don't need to be burdened by old resentments. We can build a better and more loving life today. And the quote is from Mary McLeod Bethune. Hope I'm not mispronouncing that. When we forgive, we are letting go of the hurt. I think of forgiveness as a gift to myself, as a releasing releasing a burden from myself, because I don't feel like I am benefiting in any way by holding on to a grudge. It helps me to think that people are doing the best they can. That a lot of things that I consider, or things that were like done to me that I considered bad, I think of them as people working out their own issues, and not that it actually had anything to do with me. And it's easier for me in that case to forgive people, because they were like just working through stuff. And I know that I've had times in my life where I've done things because I was working through things. And so it's nice to know that it does change. It changes relationships, but I do feel like people have forgiven me for, yeah, people have forgiven me. It seems. I'm thinking of the people who I made amends to. I'm thinking of people who haven't talked to me for periods of time. I feel even bad like saying who it is, although I've said it. I've said who it is multiple times. Um, but now I just feel like we're in such a different place. So my dad didn't talk to me for a while, and a short while, but two different times in my life, my dad stopped talking to me, and then my brother actually didn't talk to me for like 5 years. Seriously, like 5 years. Um, but and now with what my dad is going through, like it just seems like such a distant memory, and I'm seeing such a beautiful, such an intensely beautiful part of his being and his soul, and the way that he's caring for my stepmom. It's hard to believe that it's the same person, but I know that it is, and it just teaches me that we are very complex, and under certain circumstances, different parts of us can come out. And I truly believe my dad is always doing the best he can. I truly believe my brother is always doing the best he can. I know for a fact that I am always doing the best that I can. Um, like they're both talking to me right now. Um, so I do like how the first sentence, that forgiveness is really just about a change of attitude, because I think that when I when I truly believe, and I do truly believe, that people are always doing the best they can, even though it may look ugly and it may not work for me, whatever they're doing. It's easier to forgive them, just kind of give them grace. And I love like just praying for people because it helps me to not be angry. It helps me to just give it to my higher power because there's nothing I can do to change it. And sometimes it gives me the strength, like when my brother wasn't talking to me, he ended up just showing up at my house one day. And the first thing I did to him was the first thing I said was, "I'm sorry." So that kind of like broke the ice right then and there. I felt like I did owe him an apology because I was working through a lot of stuff, and I wrote him a letter, and it just rattled off all the things that I could never tell him over the years that drove me crazy. I just gave it all to him in one letter. And that was just where I was at the time, and he just didn't like that. There was another thing too. I told him the reason why I didn't get along with my stepfather and my brother. He just wasn't in a place where he could like believe what I was saying, um, because he had a completely different relationship with my stepfather. But um, with my dad, like my dad wasn't talking to me, and I just kept calling him. Um, and eventually he got over it. I was just like, this is crazy. I'm not doing this. Like, I don't know how old he was, 80 something at the time. He's 87 now. He was probably like 85 or 84. I was like, I'm not talking to my dad. It's not happening on this end. If he doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine, but I'm not giving up. So I believe that forgiveness for me is truly worth whatever work it takes because it's 100% for me, and I think it ends up making everything more peaceful. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.